Welcome to another Mango Voice YouTube video where I am so excited to be bringing on a really good friend of mine who I've met a year or two ago, who talks about something that I think is so important for the dental practice, but yet many times I have to slow her down because she gets so excited about it. Nancy, welcome to Mango's YouTube channel with me.
Hi, Laura.
So Nancy is my go-to everything patient financing, everything having to do with money in the dental office. I'm going to turn over to you, Nancy. You've been doing this for a very long time. You've been in our industry for a long time. Let everybody know who's watching this, who you are, and what you know about the dental industry.
Yeah, been in dentistry. Really, my mom was in oral maxillofacial surgery. She started taking X-rays for providers multiple years ago, and this is before X-rays were anything, of course, like what they are today, right? So I've been around it really my whole life, and as far as patient financing is concerned, I really became very familiar with this very early on in my career, about 35 years ago. And what I really learned is that when you offer payments to consumers, it is so much easier for them to adopt care. We all have a journey, and there were not only some personal sets of circumstances, doors that opened, that I ended up being a patient, and my son needed financing in 2008 when the market had crashed. So that was really the genesis, if you will, of Healthcare Finance Direct when I co-founded HFD. So built HFD, sold my interest in April of 2016, and then started doing consulting. And I was designing financing programs for big enterprise clients all around the United States. And that was all medical and dental. You know, a lot of people in lending, they'll go into multiple different verticals. I could do that, but I really felt like healthcare and dentistry needed somebody that was very focused strictly on this industry. So that's what I did. And then I started Choice Payment Services, which was the first 50 state regulatory compliance receivable management solution. And then probably 6 months ago, the regulations started to change, Laura. Like there was some major changes in regulation. And about 8 years ago, I thought I really need to start educating this industry about how to offer loans to patients within regulatory compliance, doing it so that they're empowering teams to be able to offer lending correctly. I started Finance RX. Venture Studio really is the first training and education platform so that practices can capture the patients that are walking out the door due to their inability to pay.
So I agree with you. And when you and I started talking, being the founder of Front Office Rocks, I'm all about team training. And there's so many things that you've taught me that I didn't even think of as a business owner at the time, a dental spouse, an office manager about financing. So before we get into, our whole thing, I want people to learn about like, what are you doing to educate our profession? Like what is the offerings that you have and why should a dentist and or healthcare provider want to do any sort of education around this?
Well, first, patient lending is the bridge between diagnosis and decision. And when patients, if you kind of look at the trajectory of what's always happened, and we do a great job on the marketing, we do a great job getting the patient into the chair, but the momentum literally stops when we get back to the finance conversation. So what do I really teach? From the time that the provider is with the patient, finishing up their clinical diagnosis and handing them off to the next person who's going to take the baton and finish the transaction to execution and to getting the patient scheduled for the treatment. So there's actually 5 programs that I've created. One is for providers and executives. It's a 2-hour workshop. And I try to do it on Thursdays and Saturdays when doctors are available with CEs, but it really speaks to why you want to have a financing program as a strategy, not really an afterthought. It really is a masterclass, if you will. And again, it's got some CE and it's tied to it, which is great. The second program that we offer is a 4-week intensive cohort, and it's 2 classes per week. I usually do them on Mondays and Thursdays, and it is me with 12 practices one-on-one, where I'm actually empowering them from what is a FICO score all the way through credit basics, regulatory compliance, how the lenders think, and then really to the patient conversation where we're solving, never selling. And really what I teach, Laura, is that number one, when patients trust converts. And so I'm really teaching them at the practice level to help the patient provide access, provide hope so that the patient again can move forward with the treatment protocol that's been prescribed by the provider. The third program is why patient financing. And that's really for lenders and their teams. I'm actually teaching lender teams how to have this conversation because my background is unique in that sat literally in every single seat in this transaction on the credit side and on the regulatory side. An attorney, but I've been involved in all that regulatory stuff. And then also on the practice side, because I had my own practice years and years ago with some partners. I'm not a clinician, but I was obviously on the business side. And yeah, and then I've been on the lender side. So I've literally been in, the whole bang shoot, if you will. But that program by patient financing is for lenders and techs and industry salespeople. I think what a lot of people don't realize is that this, if we, it comes down to finances and resources. 53% of patients today, the number one reason that they say that they left the practice without executing on the care is affordability. 28% is fear. So we need to fix this, which is why, doctors, this is really why practices need to do this. Then the other program that I'm really excited about is our patient lending certificate program. And I want to empower the entire industry differently than has ever been done before. And this is 31 on-demand modules will be in beta in that program. We're going to start offering it probably next month. But it's 31 on-demand modules. You have to pass a background check. You have to pass a test. And it's really easy. If you go through the class, you're gonna get it. And the modules are 5 minutes to like 20 minutes long. This is an annual certificate because lending changes so much that this really empowers the teams to really be knowledgeable about this. And they have a certificate on the back of their wall that says, I'm an expert in this. I know how to do it.
So I love that. I love that last one. Sorry to end, but like, I can't believe we haven't done that so far. Like, I just can't believe because I think that this is such a sensitive, important part of the conversation with our patients that most of the time it's here, go present $5,000 and how do I do it? Do it the way Susie did it. Like, we don't really ever educate or train in this area. So I just think that's amazing that you're putting this together.
Well, that you nailed it. The biggest thing that's happening is, and one of the why I flipped the switch when I did was because California, New York, and Illinois started saying flag on the play. We couldn't do. They were starting to say you just can't do what you were doing in the practice any longer. And while I don't necessarily like it, I totally understand because patients are being put in the wrong loans. And what's really catastrophic is when you want to go buy a house and you're in the wrong loan and you end up paying 2% more in mortgage interest, that's where this really, really matters. And if you want to go buy a house in Burlington, Iowa, Laura, you can buy one for 80,000 or 100, well, probably 100,000 now, but yet you can walk into a practice and sit down with somebody and work on a finance transaction with somebody that has absolutely no idea what they're doing. And I just think that that's wrong. And it's not fair to the patient. If our true goal, and I think we've always been aligned on this, but if our true goal is the patient is really the North Star, then we need to do right by the patient. We need to do what we would hope somebody would do for us.
Exactly. So I love that if you align with this, definitely we have the information down below about Nancy. You want to figure out which program might work for you. But what we're going to do in those conversations is we're going to actually start talking about verbal skills that our team members could get better at using to help patients, because we know that this is, usually it's how much does something cost, and we need our teams to be good at it. And we're going to start with telephones. So, just high level, Nancy, because we're going to break down each one of the questions, but you came up with 20 things that should happen on the phones. Tell us a little bit about what your thought process was with that so that people can follow along with the next videos.
Yeah, you can't train for every single circumstance, but you can train for the majority. So I created 20 different little scripts and how to answer those questions where we're laying a foundation right away about affordability and removing the fear.
I love it. I love it. And for those that follow me, they know she said the word scripts. I'm not a big fan of scripts, but what we're going to do is we're going to role play through each one. We're going to kind of talk through it so that it's going to be something that you can learn what should be happening on your phones, and or you can have your team members as you hire people, have them watch these videos. So I'm excited for
I'm
this.
with I'm with you too. I hate the word scripts. I hate the word sales. And so I'm with you exactly what you're saying. These are probably better said. These are guidelines of what to use when these different sets of circumstances come up, because it's got to be conversational. And again, if patients trust converts. And people can tell when you're reading a script usually, right? So I want to, the idea is empowering around these different conversations.
But we definitely need to train and educate. We need to go through these scenarios so that your team feels comfortable. So I'm excited about this. And thank you for being part of this, and follow along. If you are watching this, check out the next videos with Nancy and subscribe to the channel so when the next one comes out, you are notified. I look forward to
So,
this, Nancy.
yes.